Good evening. What's up, Jaime? You were sitting there in that old lazy boy chair. What you doing in the lazy boy tonight?
Uh, I, I, I don't know. This is my wife's chair, so
That joke's pretty funny, man. So we missed you last week, but you were taking care of very important pastoral things. So we're glad you were doing that. So
absolutely.
so the ball can keep rolling on things. But we are really good to have you back, man. Because I don't do it as good as you do. You know what I mean? You just
hmm
had that uh, pizzazz to it with the haircut, and
You like
like
that?
the
You like
yeah,
that?
man, and the eccentric Under Armour shirts that you always wear. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got one of every color, man. Like I've
I got.
collected the
I,
set.
I do. I do. Probably got 40 of them. So
Gosh, man. Anyway, guys, welcome to the War Zone tonight. Glad to be here. We're both, all three of us actually, are in the comforts of our own home. We should be back in the studio hopefully next week. But man, I've enjoyed Davey. I've enjoyed this series. This is week 5 of this, and it has been phenomenal, guys. If you need to catch the past episodes are not on YouTube because we've been banned, so you won't catch last week on YouTube, but you can catch them all in our app. And I do want to put this on the screen for you. I think you can actually download our app. I thought I had a QR code for it, but I don't. Or do I? No, I do not. So, but I'll have to actually make that. But I do want to go ahead and put our website up there because you can actually go to speaklifelovewell.com and then there's a place you can click to actually download the app. All of these episodes are in that app, and you can just read the descriptions and tell which one's which. But if you guys could go ahead and share this out because this is some really good information. And then once you get caught up, you can binge watch this, like you said, with like When Calls to Heart or The Blacklist or whatever other show you like. Grey's Anatomy is really popular. So you can go back and binge watch all of these episodes so you can get actually caught up by next week. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Davey and I'm going to let him take it away. Jamie, have you got anything before I do that?
no, man. I'm glad to be back, and I can't wait. I didn't. I haven't even looked at the archive from last week, but I can only imagine how amazing it was because every one of them have been so just outstanding. And I mean, it's truth. It's where we are today, and Davey is just on top of this. And I tell you, we were kidding before we went on live that I'm a part of his group that he texts stuff out to. And about 4:35 o'clock in the morning, every morning, my phone just lights up. Davey Sapp, Davey Sapp, Davey Sapp. I'm like, that dude needs to sleep a little longer. So he is
Go
on
to
top of
bed.
it, releasing revelation, information, what's happening, paralleling it with signs and wonders and prophecy. It's just stunning, especially as we're getting closer to the election. I mean, people really need to be attentive to what's going on, what the Lord is saying, and how this thing is playing out.
Yes, 100%. Sorry for the confusion scroll on the bottom I've had this whole time. I clicked the wrong one. This is not the season 2 debut of the Warzone. So, welcome to the Warzone. Please share this out. Yeah, man. Last week was short. It was the shortest one yet because we accidentally jumped off an hour early before the debate, which I'm sure he's going to bring up some of that tonight, which is amazing. Even though it was 3-on-1, right?
I
But
think, and I might get with Davey on this. And I've been thinking about. I've been taking some notes of going through that debate and just picking it apart, just defining everything that was said, what the truths and the lies to what was being said. David be great to parallel with prophecy, but I think because so many people watched that, but so many people missed a lot of things because they really were not hearing what was being said. So I think that's something maybe we need to do at some point, guys, is go back to the information, kind of break it down with a fine tooth comb, and let people understand what was really being said.
yeah, and also there's so much unfolded since last week in the debate. There was a second assassination attempt on his life.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
so I don't know what he's going to bring tonight, but I bet you he may touch a little bit on that. But we can stop all the speculation. We can just bring him on and we can see for ourselves. So, guys, just let me welcome Mr. Davey Sapp again. Davey,
Hey,
what's up, man?
man, I'll tell you, it was like we were talking before we went live, and you almost need a full-time staff to keep up with this stuff. I'm just, I've got, as I've said before, probably 4 to 6 months worth of, prophecy fulfilled that it's not even in this presentation. But you actually bring up a good point, talking about the second attempt on Trump's life. And I've got a recent prophecy here as of August. This is not in the presentation, so this is good stuff here. So check this out. This was August 28th of this year. They have another plan to assassinate him using another fall man. But remember, my children, they cannot kill him when he is under my protection. This does not mean to stop praying for him and his family. When every attempt fails yet again, they will start to turn more against the citizens of this nation.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Davey, you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kim Clement prophesy 2 attempts?
Um, I don't. The one thing I do remember about the number two was 2 terms presidency.
Now, I
He may
do.
have also prophesied that because I've listened to so many.
You know what? I'm actually going to research it while you speak tonight. So if I look like I'm distracted, I'm usually fact checking you. No, I'm just kidding.
Feel free. We could have used some extra fact checks in the debate, right?
For real, man, dude. You know them jokers was busy that night, but no, man. It's like when we're on these streams. If you can't think of a date or a scripture, I'm in the background getting it pulled up to confirm anything that you have a question about. So if I ever look distracted, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna pull up and just research that as you get going.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we bring it, well, you can bring up the slide if you want, but I just kind of want to take folks back. Going to give a brief summary. So through the what is this, session 5 now?
5, yeah. So I put
Yeah.
3 last week because I
Okay.
messed it up. So, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So through these first 4 sessions, I've tried to start at ground zero, build the picture of how these people are connected, how the satanic forces have mobilized against not only our nation but the world, and then stepping through some of possible theories of Trump's, what do we want to call it? Well, I'll just say it like he said it. We're in a pause, sort of a pause. He said that after he quote unquote lost the election. Um, Bringing folks through that, talked about some of the executive orders. And last week we left off with a Trump prophecy that I read in a Truth Social post that concerned the prosecution of anybody cheating in the election. It was a very stern post. You have to go back and watch that. It's near the end of the last session. But that was a post that he made either that day or the day before. I can't recall exactly. But I'm going to start out with this second Trump prophecy by Julie Green. So I'm going to read it. Donald Trump, my son, do not doubt me and do not doubt what I will do for you. I will protect whom you love, and I will protect this nation from what you are being told is possible and what could be the worst case scenarios. This will not happen. I will not allow your enemies to go that far. I know it is hard to imagine less casualties in a situation like this, but I have done this in my word before. My son, go to Second Chronicles 20 in my written word and read what I did for my people. The enemies fought each other, and none on my side were lost. This is possible. Get in prayer with me. Surround yourself with the people who can pray with authority and who will lead you in the right direction. Donald, you have had people surrounding you who have purposely given you bad advice. Some know they were sent there to sabotage you. I will reveal the ones who are left. I will tell you who to have near you during this time. My son, it is go time. So go, and I will be with you. I will be with this nation. You are a part of the new United States. I've called you here for this moment. I promise you, my son, I will not fail you. I will not fail this nation. I love you beyond what you could have imagined. Everything stolen, everything lost, you are about to get back in multiplication. My son, beyond your wildest dreams, I will restore and give back more. I will shield your family, and no one will touch them. I have my angel army surrounding you and your family in this time. So go and do what I've called you to do. I will be with you, my son. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you for not backing down. And thank you for trusting me despite what you have seen and what your enemies have tried to do to break you. I will break them and all of their plans. This is that time. I will give you peace and rest like you have never known. When you sleep, I will come to you and tell you what to do. I am here. I will always be here for you, my son, saith the Lord of hosts. You know, I don't know if Trump really realizes how special that is. I mean, can you imagine like just substitute your name for Donald Trump, Jamie Jackson, you know,
Yeah.
Joshua McEwen, Davey Sapp, um, speaking directly to Donald Trump. You know, and even in 2022, he was saying, I'm going to protect you. And what have we seen? 2 assassination attempts on his life. And he's still moving, right? He's still alive. They're not going to kill him. They're just making him more popular. Everything they do backfires against them. So the journey on the next few sessions, what we're going to go through is I'll just call it a blitzkrieg. It's going to be a blitzkrieg of prophecy truths. And why am I showing these seemingly unrelated prophecies? Because God has also said in his prophecies, I'm giving you the news before the news so that, and I'm paraphrasing this part, but so that when you see these large prophecies, I call them large, right? The Donald Trump prophecies. When you see these, you're going to have faith that I'm going to fulfill these prophecies and what I've said I'm going to do. Now, I'm paraphrasing that part. All right. But God has said in his prophecies through Julie Green, I'm giving you the news before the news. And it's to build our faith. So we're going to go through a multitude of prophecy truths. I mean, they just seem random, but God is showing us I'm in control. Listen to me, listen to the prophets, and you'll know what's coming. All right, so here we go. August 19th, 2021. Something unusual will be reported in the desert. August 24th, Mojave Desert will be in your news. September 15th, a well-known desert will be in your news, and a sign will be seen in an event that will take place. It will be undeniable that I do give the news before the news. So just so you're aware, Death Valley is a desert in Eastern California in the northern Mojave Desert. Okay. And basically what happened here, this is an event that happened in the Mojave Desert. All right. A Mexico earthquake causes desert tsunami 1,500 miles away in Death Valley. And check this out. This is in the desert. Now watch this. Look at that water. That's 1,500 miles away. All right. Keep going here. So a lot of folks have heard about the Georgia Guidestones. I just kind of want to go through the Georgia Guidestones were located in Elberton, Georgia. I used to live in Toccoa, Georgia, and I would drive through Elberton all the time, coming back to Brunswick to see family, and then traveling back to Toccoa. But what are the Georgia Guidestones? Nobody really knows who financed these Guidestones. They just appeared one day. Right. And on these guidestones, they state maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now, remember Gates, remember eugenics, all that kind of stuff. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Well, where have we heard that word before? Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. That almost says don't really believe what you've been taught as far as biblical things. That's the way I read it. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule eternally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So, where have we heard one world order? That was in session 1 or session 2 that we talked about the one world order, and all of the, or I wouldn't say all, but a lot of not only the United States leaders talking about a one world government, but world leaders talking about a one world government. Now you see it inscripted on the Georgia Guidestones. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Oh, that's interesting. Balance personal rights with social duties. Well, it's just another phrase for communism. That's all that is. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature and leave room. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. All right. Here we go. January 22nd, 2022, you will see a monument destroyed in this hour. This monument will show the world that all of their plans are falling as I speak these words. Know that when you see this monument crumble to the ground, I am moving quickly to restore my nation back as a superpower that the United States was always meant to be, with no restrictions, with no satanic agenda, with no interference from any infiltrators, and with no more of these swamp rats controlling my nation or its government. A clean sweep of it all, a complete restoration, and a complete restoration and people in power I have put in this hour. My light is shining on my nation to completely set you free from what you see now. The Georgia Guidestones completely demolished after explosion left the monument damaged. Check this out. You can see the date there, July the 6th, 2022. Prophecy was given out January 22nd. The only thing they have on the video, as far as I know, is that car leaving the scene. Now, there's a aerial view of it there. Okay, I want you to listen to the news.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, tomorrow marks 1 year since the destruction of the historic Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, the mysterious monolith stood on a field in Elberton for decades. So Tracy Amick-Pierre is going to show us where that investigation stands right now.
Tonight, the spot where the Georgia Guidestone stood is just a patch of gravel and weeds. And the GBI tells me they still have no leads on who blew them up.
They're gone. That's all I can tell you. They're gone.
Wayne Mullinex showed me today the spot where the Georgia Guidestones once stood for 42 years.
I put them up. I dug the foundation for them and helped erect them.
The stones themselves were a mystery, paid for by an unknown person who called themselves R.C. Christian back in 1979. Each stone was etched with so-called guiding principles in languages from across the world. Mullinex says they were controversial from the start.
Population shouldn't be over 100,000. I mean, it had things like that on it.
Mullinex says he saw it all, with the stones attracting thousands of tourists each year.
One night, I got a phone call and said they was going to sacrifice one of my cows.
All that ended July 6th of last year when someone blew up the Guidestones.
So I was asleep and I heard it and it rocked my house.
County Administrator Alan Holm says there were conspiracy theories right away.
I've heard lightning. I've heard that it just blew up on its own. And obviously we've heard that it was a bomb that blew the Guidestones up.
GBI released this video of a car leaving the scene and a person leaving a device. But investigators have never named a suspect. The rest of the stones were removed for safety soon after the explosion. But tourists still come.
You will see people out here with a little shovel and a little paper bag, and they're picking up some of the grit right here.
And while Mullinex says he's sad the stones were destroyed, he says he has no plans to ever bring them back.
Do you hope that they're ever rebuilt?
No, they won't be rebuilt.
What was left of the stones was donated to the Elberton Granite Museum, and the GBI says this is still an open and active investigation. So if you have any information, you're asked to call them.
All right, so there you go. Prophecy Truth. Next slide here.
Tonight at 6.
February 23rd, 2022, Jim Psaki, you are feeling overwhelming pressure. You know the truth about Biden. They are turning on you. They don't trust you anymore. You will suddenly step down out of nowhere, they will say. You think that that will bring you peace, but it won't. Your hour of judgment has come for your part you have played against the American people. You are a liar, and you are caught for all the web of lies you weave. You are also a traitor. And yes, you shouldn't trust the ones you stand beside because they don't trust you. They want to dispose of you for leaving your post when they needed you to stay. Jen, you will not find peace you were looking for. Judgment is about to hit your doors with nowhere for you to hide. You could have turned away and repented, but you chose not to. Now your fate has been sealed, and treason is your end. May 8th, 2022. Jim Psaki hasn't had her final say. Continue to watch her as she leaves her position. So May the 6th was fulfilling the February prophecy when she announced she was stepping down as White House press secretary. So Brian Stelter, as a matter of fact, Brian Stelter has been in the news here in the last couple of weeks. But I'm going to read this on Brian. Brian Stelter, major news will expose you and who you are. You will be removed from your seat at CNN, never to be in the news job again. You also helped in the 2020 election, still doing anything you could to tear down Trump in his name with your vicious lies. You are a traitor to your nation, and you will fall greatly for that and your lifestyle. You try to keep it hidden on your computer, but the world will know how perverted you are and what you like to watch when no one is around. You will be exposed in every way. Judgment is coming for you now, and nothing will stop the major news that is about to take place, about to break regarding you. Your time is over, Brian. I gave you an opportunity to repent, but you chose money in your career. That was a bad choice. You are about to sink with the Titanic because your sins have caught up with you. So you can see the news releases here. Brian Stelter out at CNN. August 9th, 2022, CNN is ending reliable sources with Brian. And the reason why I brought Brian up is this prophecy I don't think is over, because I believe Brian is recently back at CNN. I'm not sure if he's a guest or he's been rehired. So continue to watch Brian because things are going to be exposed about him. And let's talk a little bit about our agriculture over the last, let's just go back 3 years. Has anyone noticed all of the attacks on agriculture, all the chicken farms that just magically caught on fire, all in the same time frame, I would say, in a couple of years time frame, destroying cattle. There was articles of hundreds of cattle dead. Again, chicken farms just burning up. Food processing plants catching on fire. But listen to this June 4th prophecy. Agriculture is being targeted to destroy, excuse me, your food chains and supplies, my children. You will hear of fires destroying crops, floods, and other natural disasters, but do not focus on what's going on. I can and will supernaturally supply your every need. These plans your enemies have will be destroyed by my hand, saith the Lord. And it just a clip here of a farmer sees a massive crop fire and tries to put a stop to it. Some of these you can read for yourself. You see the word Freeman. Freeman, this name will be in your news. Listen to the reason why. And it talks about a Freeman High School shooter pleads guilty to murder. So let's go on to the next slide here. May 3rd, 2022, collapse. This word will be used to describe many things going on, especially with the economy. Yes, but their news stations, businesses, and plans against you all collapse. Some people will collapse on live TV, and some behind closed doors that will be leaked to the public. My eyes are watching all they have done and are doing. They are not getting away with anything, saith the Lord. So look at this compilation here of people collapsing. I'll just play one video after another. Here we go. So you see a guard collapse over there on live TV as they're walking up. And that is Macron there, the French president. Isn't that just like God? You see a guard there of the UK falling over. Not a guard, but a band member.
And where do we go? Oh, say where down. Oh, God, say we're running down, see, oh, way down.
Welcome to KCAL News at 7 on CBS, streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Rachel Kim.
And I'm Michelle Medina in for Sheba. Who is ready for some sunshine? I know I am. Let's start off with a check of your next weather with meteorologist Alyssa Carlson. She joins us live in the studio. Alyssa, this really is the calm before the storm.
Not again. Oh.
You know, we're going to go ahead and go to break right now.
Yeah.
Texas 45-year-old rapper Big Pokey, whose real name was Milton Powell, performing during a Juneteenth theme show, dies suddenly mid-performance.
Give me something, man. Hey, DJ. Come on, man. Give me some credit, something, man. Yeah.
Davey, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Interrupt me anytime.
Yeah, so I want to go back and reference the agriculture, because some people, when we're seeing this stuff, a lot of this stuff we know bits and pieces because we've seen it on the news, just bits and pieces. But for some people, it's hard to believe is this stuff really happening, and if it's really happening, it's not happening close to home. It's like these are, even though we've had several students in our local high school over the past couple of years fall dead. But I remember I was visiting a lady who has a food outreach in a nearby county. It's Wayne County, actually. And I was there one day, and this is about 2 years ago. And she said, "Have you heard what's happened in our community?" And I said, well, no, because I'm not from Wayne County. And she goes, "The farmers of Wayne County have received these letters from the government." And I said, "Okay, what kind of letters have they received?" And she actually showed me one. She goes, "They're receiving these letters, and they are offering them 2 to 3 times the value of their crop if they will destroy their crops in the field and never bring them to harvest." And I said, "Do what?" And she showed me the letter, and I read one of the letters. And I'm not sure if it was just, I'm sure it was just not isolated to one county, but this is 30 minutes from here. And I said, "What are they doing?" And she said, "What do you think they're doing? They're destroying their crops because they're getting 2 to 3 times more in value for the government. The government is paying them off to destroy their produce, their crops in the field," which would tell me, Davey, that they are intentionally causing a food shortage. What do you think about that?
You're right on target there. And that's a great local example. I mean, look at the first sentence in this prophecy. Agriculture is being targeted to destroy your food chains and supplies. And so you just, came up with a local example of that prophecy being fulfilled. All of this stuff is connected.
Yeah.
It
I'll
is
give
it
you
is so connected.
I'll give you another example, Davey, if you don't mind. This is not
No, go ahead.
agriculture, but this is in the shipping industry. So this was also about 2 years ago. I was looking for some Georgia Florida tickets to Care Gabriel. It's the only game that we can go to now that he can go because it's within distance of driving, and he loves the Georgia Bulldogs. And so I got on. I think it was Facebook Marketplace or one of those, and I found some tickets. And so the guy lived in Jacksonville. And so I said, I'll just meet you. We met at Mission Barbecue. And I bought his lunch and I bought 4 tickets from him. And we were just talking. And I said, by the way, what do you do? He goes, I'm a receiver of shipping containers at the local port. And I said, oh, interesting. So he says, what we have to do, we have to pay the companies to receive the containers, and then once we paid a certain amount of money for those containers, then we receive them into the port. Then wherever those containers are going, whether it's Target or you know Walmart or wherever it's going, they come and pick them up, and then they get transformed to or transported to those companies. And he said, you won't believe what's happened. And I said, well, tell me. He goes, where we were paying 800, say to 1,000, $1,200 just to receive it to the port. That overnight they went to anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 we had to pay to receive just the container that had the goods that were coming into our country that would be put on the shelves of our marketplace. And so right there, you're seeing where the prices were going up substantially overnight. It's because of this upcharge that these companies were charging. He said, Jamie, it went from 1,000 to 5,000 to 7,000 overnight. And guess who pays that for that expenditure? The American people do, the people that are buying the goods off the shelf, just like that. And you talk about inflation. Inflation was it was purposed. It was planned.
Yes. And you think about the shipping. What happened? What it was the Baltimore Bridge, correct?
Yeah.
That got hit. That was done on purpose. Have you watched the video of that? And how that ship turned at the last minute to hit that specific part of the bridge. It's just amazing. And once your eyes are open and you start to awaken to these things happening, you start to watch the news in a whole different light.
Yeah.
You start to draw these connections. And that's what the purpose of these presentations are for, is to show people what's happening so they can research it. And as they're watching these events unfold, reference the prophecies and tie these things together, because God is talking to his people. He's trying to tell us what's coming. More collapses on live TV here.
The highest court in the land and America, the body of late Supreme Court Justice
There he
Sandra
goes.
Day O'Connor, you're seeing there, lying in repose in the court's great hall. The public now has a chance to say goodbye.
Soccer players.
No goals in his last 11, but we know he can wreak havoc. There's no lack of aggression in his.
There he is right there, down. And have you noticed that it seems to be when we're talking athletes collapsing, it seems to be those where how can I describe it, where the heart is working the most, like soccer. I mean, they're constantly running. I mean, that heart's pumping, right? And you've seen soccer player after soccer player go down, football players go down. And look at the ESPN host here. Watch this one.
Jude Bellingham will operate. Is it as a boxing box midfielder? Is it behind the striker? Shows it his stance? Yes. Well, he's not here para to Benzema. No. There is a certain player at the moment who is currently playing for PSG who kind of suits that role, doesn't he? Obviously, so much speculation about killing Mbappe, about whether or not he's going to Real Madrid this summer. He's been left behind. He's on the naughty step from PSG. He's not gone on the tour of Japan. Obviously, Shaq.
So he goes down, and just to kind of show you, he was urging people to get vaccinated, right? I'm telling you, I believe there's a connection between these vaccinations and the collapses that you're seeing. Now, is it one vaccination? Is it multiple? I don't know. I will tell you, my belief is that if folks continue to get those boosters, they're, in my belief, they're putting themselves at risk.
Well, you want me to give you some confirmation, Davey? So
Sure.
I had two personal friends. Now, this is just not hearsay. I have two personal friends. If I name one of them, you probably know them, Davey. That, and again, I'm not here trying to promote science or what could have happened, what did happen. Is it coincidence? You can decide. But had two personal friends that got vaccinated. One of them did not even make it out of the doctor's office before they dropped dead in the lobby.
Wow.
Dropped dead in the lobby. The other one made it home and within 24 hours dropped dead. Listen, it could be coincidence. I don't believe it was coincidence. It's just my personal opinion. And I've done enough research on vaccines and this COVID vaccine and with some of the stuff you have shared over the past couple of weeks and some of my research and even some of the truth coming out actually in the public eye with the news, some of the news, they're showing that this is a real thing. So I would be mindful if I were people, but for me, I have a personal friend who's a doctor who really knows the science behind this, and I've talked with him, and we're probably going to have him on the War Zone at some point. Maybe we can have you when we have him, Davey. After we finish this, we'll have you on with him, just where you can hear. But he's fully convinced, with just the science behind it, that it is very dangerous. And he goes, and the more boosters you get, the more dangerous it is. It's like people that just got the first one, it's not quite as bad. You don't get, I guess the danger level is a little bit lower. But he says, as the boosters have increased, all you're doing is you're telling your body to constantly, 24/7, 365, to produce that spike protein in your body. He says, on no level can that be healthy or good for your body. So there you go.
Wow, that's a great confirmation. I appreciate you sharing that. There's actually a channel on Telegram. If folks, Telegram's a good source of information. Again, I will say that anytime you go out on these sites, things like that, you really have to pray into it and filter and use your discernment. But there's a channel on Telegram that does nothing but cover COVID deaths and adverse events. And it shows pictures of, just like I showed here, of them talking about or encouraging folks to get their boosters or their original COVID shots, and then them dying, passing away.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting, Davey, that when our current president was almost to the place where he was mandating the world, I don't know if you remember that, he was very strong in his language, almost mandating that you get the vaccine. But isn't it interesting, Davey, that it was neither mandated for Congress in any capacity to get it? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And I don't believe Pfizer's CEO at the time would take the vaccine. As a matter of fact, Mark Zuckerberg, now I don't know if I think I've got this video in that video in the presentation, but Mark Zuckerberg warns his staff against taking the vaccine. So what did he know? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
More collapses. Now this is an interesting video. So this guy here basically blasphemes the Lord on live TV, and no sooner did he got it out of his mouth, he goes down. Watch this one.
Saygıyla selamlıyorum.
He's gone.
Birleşime 20 dakika ara veriyorum.
So he's talking about he wasn't exactly blaspheming, but he was heart attack after declaring Israel will not be able to escape the wrath of God. As soon as he said that, he died. He's gone. And that, when was that? December 12th, 2023. Remember the prophecies about collapse. All right. Now this one kind of confused me a little bit. This is a 30-year-old Brazilian gospel singer who passed away on live TV.
Holy.
Yeah, that one being a gospel, gospel singer, I'm thinking to myself, Lord, what's going on there? Now I don't know what, he was involved in or anything like that. I know nothing about this person. But doesn't it say somewhere in the Bible, I'm going to butcher it here, James, to help me, where it says, God's people perish for lack of knowledge, something along those lines, right? So we have to be aware of our surroundings, stay in prayer. It's a combination of prayer, being alert, watching what's going on, asking for that discernment. A few prophecies here. I'm just going to cover some of them. August 16th, 2022. Meta, this name I say again, a death you shall see of its power, and it's coming down now, saith the Lord. Meta. And the word meta means death, from what I understand. But Meta to lay off 10,000 more workers after initial cuts in November. And so that was March 14th, 2023. Here's seemingly unrelated. Japan, watch for a typhoon. Yes, a large typhoon will strike, but know, my children who are there, I will protect you. The destruction is for the ones who are about to invade your land. I will not let that happen. China is trying to take you out once and for all. When was that? February 2022, September 2022. Japan issues special typhoon warning as unprecedented storm approaches. Talks a little bit about Charles Schwab. His name will be in your news April 8th, 2022. And you can see Charles Schwab plunges after potential block sell-off emerges. Mark Zuckerberg calls him out by name. There'll be a major drop in your stock. It'll be a greater drop 12% right after that. You can see, when is this? October 26th. It crashes after Q3 report. And you can see some of the charts over here where the stock's falling. And that starts right around March, April time frame. Don Lemon, you will take a great fall as well. You will never come back to your position. Yes, for everything you have hidden, for what you have done, and for the lies to the American people, you will completely be exposed. The little that has come out to the surface is nothing like what is about to come out. Yes, you are finished, and your judgment is now. So that's in February. It goes on to talk about CNN, who, by the way, will go bankrupt. You'll see them file bankruptcy. talks about NBC. And now, as I'm reading these prophecies, I want to take you back to what I was talking about the government and private corporations forming that bond, right, during the lockdowns, right? And so now you see God talking and calling these entities out. All right, He's going to judge these folks and these corporations that were involved in a lot of this. Going back to Don, so here it is, October 8th, 2022. Don Lemon says goodbye to CNN primetime show with emotional farewell. April 24th, 2023. So his fall started in October. He was fired in April of 2023. I was informed this morning by my agent I've been terminated by CNN. Going back to JFK, February 21st of 2022, this prophecy. They started it all.